Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this AEW Dynamite December 4th review, 2019, by the way. If you don't know what year we're in, there's something wrong with you. Anyway, what was my thoughts on this show, you may ask me? Since I'm doing a review, of course, I'm going to give you my thoughts. It's pretty logical. This show was okay wrestling-wise. A little bit of storytelling that was involved I did enjoy, such as Cody Rhodes' segment. I thought that was fantastic. Everything he was throwing at MJF to get a one-on-one match, he asked, and he's waiting for a response back from MJF. One thing I will say on this show that we did not see is MJF, nor did we see Kenny Omega or Pac. Those are some big names on this program that was not used. Very surprised by that by AEW in this aspect, but at the same time, I'm okay with it. There is one thing I didn't like about the show, especially with Brandy Rhodes and Awesome Kong cutting people's hair. Nyla Rose match was fucking horrendous. I think she's absolute trash. There's just, and the matchup they decided to do for their only match left for Chris Jericho in the year of 2019, because they're going to give them the day off for Christmas, is they have him facing Jungle Boy. Now, I don't know if this is for the world title. I didn't quite hear that or remember him mentioning anything for the world championship. He was just required to have a match for the last show before they go into the new year. His situation with Jungle Boy, I think is cool for Jungle Boy and all, but if it's for the world title, please spare me. It's bullshit. There's no reason for Jungle Boy getting a world championship opportunity. The only person that should be getting a world title match, other than Jon Moxley, is Kenny Omega. He's the only person that is deserving outside of Jon Moxley in this situation. He's been winning, and outside of his match with Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega has won majority of his matches. He at least has a over 500 record. So that's really what I have to say on that subject. Other than that, the wrestling was pretty decent. I will go over some of the things that happen each and every match, but I don't want to make this too long because I burnt my voice box out kind of from talking so much at work and so forth. So I ain't got much of a voice right now. At least you may not hear it, but I just don't feel like talking too much. So I'll just break into this right away. The show kicked off with Dustin Rhodes and the Young Bucks facing Sammy Guevara and Santana Ortiz of Pride and Powerful. So Rhodes has Young Bucks SK wrestling gear on. And so things break down in a hurry as everyone goes after each other. Super kicks to Santana and Ortiz, sending them to the outside. Triple super kicks to Guevara. Nick with a big splash to the floor on all three opponents. Rhodes with a cannonball off the apron as Nick leaps off the top rope, taking everyone out. Back in the ring, Matt eats a kick from Guevara, and Matt with a multiple Northern Lights superplex on Guevara as well. Then he hits one on two guys, and then tries for a three. Doesn't get all three, and ends up taking a buckle bomb and multiple clotheslines in the corner. Moving on through this. Inner Circle then with the super staled superplex, but Matt ends up fighting out of it and dropping Guevara. Dustin tags in, clotheslines on Santana, drops down, and lands a shot to the jaw. couple of spinning power slams, which was a very nice spot for Dustin Rhodes here. He looked very good in this matchup and still was giving everything into this. Then as he hits the spinning power bombs, he goes ahead and Guevara gets in the ring, and Dustin acts as if he needs a breather because he's acting as if he's out of breath because of his age. But he really wasn't out of breath at all, and Guevara was just standing there like a putz. Don't understand why he did that at all. He should have attacked, but he didn't. Guevara then charges in, and it takes a spinning power slam as well. Dustin heads to the top rope and hits a diving crossbody on all three opponents. Dustin then hits a Canadian Destroyer on Santana. Ortiz breaks it up, the cover, and then Ortiz breaks it up, but gets tossed out of the ring. From that point, the sock full of baseballs, yes, they got baseballs inside these socks, come into play, knocking Dustin to the mat. Guevara heads to the top rope and hits the 630 senton, crushing Dustin in the process. Cover for two, and Guevara charges in, eats the top turnbuckle. Nick tags in, and hits a flurry of kicks. Matt sneaks in and hits a spear on Sammy. Nick and Matt with some Tatum offense cover, and Ortiz breaks it up. Fights break out on the floor, and knee drop power bomb combination on Matt. Cover, and Dustin breaks up the pin. Crowd really into this match, and Sammy now took his phone for some vlogging. I don't understand what the fuck that was. What the point was of him doing that in this matchup. Thought it was completely, utterly retarded. Made him look inexperienced and very fucking foolish. So he goes to the top rope with the fucking cell phone in his hand. He goes up for a shooting star press, eats a double super kick. Dustin then takes the phone and gets a selfie, and Nick gets the top rope, or gets to the top rope, kicks the back of Santana and Ortiz, who then receive pile drivers by Matt and Dustin. As he falls down, Nick then lands a senton on Sammy, and Matt gets the pin on Sammy for the 1, 2, 3. And there you go. Sammy, once again, is eating all the fucking losses here. I don't know what's the point of Sammy Guevara. He's extremely hated anyway. Why are you keep pushing him? Most importantly, why are you calling him the Spanish God? Like, what is the point of that? He's not a god of anything. He's not even god of shit. This guy sucks. And not because of his in-ring wrestling skills, but how he's being pushed. He's being pushed in situations where he has no chance in hell to win. That is stupid. You don't do that to your talent. And they're putting Sammy Guevara in many different situations where he can't win. They need to start pushing him in some kind of manner to give him some kind of interest and reasoning behind why he's on the fucking show, instead of losing all the time or eating pinfalls for the Inner Circle for them to lose a match. Doesn't make much sense to me. Anyway, we then have Trent from the Best Friends coming out with Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy facing Rey Fenix. This match was okay. I'm not going to go on a full-on talk about it. I mean, I kind of glanced at it. It was alright. It was not bad. Decent action here. Rey Fenix, of course, wins the match with a Blackfire driver for the win. It's basically a muscle buster spin to a Mokunoku driver, and that's how he wins the match. And that's how the match ends. So Trent doesn't get any kind of push. He's once again with the Best Friends. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Sounds like a WWE parade. They ought to just join with the WWE. I think they'd be fantastic for him. I don't know. This show really is starting to feel more and more, little by little, each and every week, a little bit like the WWE main roster, only with good wrestling. Now, I will give them that. They have good wrestling, but their storyline-driven situation that they got going on, I'm not liking it. I really am not. You got Chris Jericho as the world champion. He's not really defending the title like a real champion. I understand he's a heel, but he's more than capable of winning a match by himself. He's got a match with Jungle Boy on December 18th. Alright, great. Fantastic. Fantastic, okay? Great. He's got a match with Jungle Boy. Can you fucking make him win the match with Jungle Boy clean? No fucking outside interferences. No shenanigans. Nothing. Not even cheating on his own. Just him beating this fucking Jungle Boy character and pinning him or submitting him to go ahead and earning a win by himself. A legit win. I mean, if you can't go ahead and give Chris Jericho that, strip him of the title already. Find a good replacement to hold on to the world title for a while until you find a new person that you want to move the title onto. But right now, the only person that is legitimate and worthy enough to get the next world title opportunity is Jon Moxley. That's all I have to say on that subject. Like I said earlier, the only other person besides Jon Moxley that could get a match before him is Kenny Omega, and that's because of his brand name and what he provides in the ring. That's it. He has a legit win and loss record that's decent as well, so that does give him a right to challenge for the world title. But outside of those two guys, I don't see anything on this roster right now that gives me the legit feeling that they deserve a world title match. Not one. Not a Joey Janella. Not a fucking Darby Allin. Even though I love Darby Allin, I think Darby Allin is a fantastic wrestler. I think he has displayed since that match he had in June with Cody Rhodes. He is awesome. He's got a very bright future ahead of him. I can't wait to see what the guy can do. He can also wrestle. He doesn't have to do hardcore matches all the time just to get himself over. So I will say that about the guy. So he's definitely one young star that I see can be something in this company later on in the future. But as a world championship opportunity right now, no. I'm sorry. There's a list of guys right now that aren't deserving to go after the world title. I apologize for that feeling. If you guys disagree with me, fine. That's fine with me. It's your opinion. But me personally, Kenny Omega's Jon Moxley are the only two guys for me. That's it. So Cody comes out after the match with Rey Fenix. Cody makes his way through the backstage area to the ring to talk with Tony Schiavone. Cody reminds the fans that he can never challenge for the AEW title again. Says last week wasn't much better when he go attack. What the fuck did this person write on their website? Wrestle Incorporated. Wrestling Incorporated was fucking blown out of their mind. Let me reread this. He says last week wasn't much better when he got attacked from the Blade and the Butcher, which still there's no explanation of who the fuck they are, where they came from, or why they're there, outside of something that Allie, as the bunny, said their reasoning behind it, which I'll explain later in this review. Cody says when he usually raises his hands up, the people who were there are no longer there. He pretty much went on a rant about Dustin, his brother. He talked about Brandy going about cutting people's hair. The inner circle is beating the shit out of him. No one's showing up to help him out. And then MJF kicks him between the legs and causes him to lose the opportunity of winning the world title and costing him ever to get a chance for the world title in his career, which I hopefully they change at some point. Cody says to the Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny that they could have just asked for a match, but he gets it. Cody says they can have a match whenever, and they can even pick his partner. And that's pretty much that on that subject. Then he goes on to MJF. And says MJF says he won't wrestle Cody, but that won't stand, and he owes it to Cody to have that match. Cody says he remembers when he brought MJF along when he was told he was too short. A Bush League NWO, Chris Jericho even someone who wore a fake scarf. Cody says he'll offer up his Ford Black Ops. Only 300 made. How about an expensive watch gifted to him from Tony Khan? His red bottom shoes, and some cash, which was $50,000. And to prove it, he has Justin Roberts give a young fan in the crowd a $100 bill. Hey, WWE! You like copying everything that AEW does on your main roster and have NXT kind of do similar things and all that jazz and throw things here and there with little clips and dips on AEW. Why don't you go ahead and give a $100 bill to a sick child? How about doing that? That would be kind of neat. I'm not making fun of sick children, people, so don't take what I said the wrong way. I hope nobody does, but you get what I mean. That was fucking unbelievable. I could not believe a child in the audience got a $100 bill. Please, I will pretend I'm a child, and you can give me $100, and then I can take the day off from work. That'd be fantastic. Anyway, Cody says he's going to take out MJF. All he has to do is name his price, and the fans want it. And so does he, and let's do this. The promo delivery that he gave for this was awesome. I loved what he had to say. He delivered it in very good fashion. Cody is a very good mic expert. He talks very well on the microphone. He delivers his message very smoothly and to the point. So I enjoy when he's on the microphone. He's probably the best talker on this brand. Or in this company, I should say. Not a brand, because it's its own separate entity. So backstage, Alex Marvez asked Joey Janella why he wants to face Jon Moxley tonight. Some of the things that Janella said was just fucking unbelievably funny. For one, he wants to make a name for himself, and he has one of the first to sign with the company. But since that time, he's been put on the back burner. Janella reminds Moxley of their unsanctioned match at Fyter Fest. But tonight it counts, and the lights are on. Janella says this time, "You'll have to kill me." Moxley shows up during the interview and looks at Janella for a moment and says, "Kids," and then walks away. This was a short excerpt of what he had to say. He also mentions about the lights being on, and is anybody home, is one of the things he throws out there. And before that, he says, "I wouldn't mind you beating the living hell out of me and giving me a place to sleep tonight when I sleep in a hospital bed." So he's kind of reiterating his lifestyle before he became part of the AEW roster. Thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, we had a video package of the Dark Order. We see some unhappy guy on his computer signing up to join the group. Cut to Evil Uno bringing him into the group in an outdoor ceremony at night. We see the guy from the first couple of video packages in the last couple of weeks. He's asked if he will leave his loved ones behind for the group. He says yes. He's asked what is his motive to being part of this group, and he says, "I just wanted friends." Grayson ends up kicking him in the face, and the minions attack him. And that's how this segment ends. Wow, that seemed very fucking stupid. Just reading this made me dumb. Anyway, moving on. Nyla Rose facing Leva Bates from the Librarians, which, God help me, is fucking repulsive. Peter Avalon and that other chick is just fucking ridiculous. I can't even stand watching them at all. They are probably the worst characters on this show, outside of a few other things that went on. I'm not even going to discuss this. Nyla Rose wins the match. Do I really have to go that far and deep into the match? It's not that hard to figure out. Shit. So post-match, Rose hits another beast bomb on Bates. She looks for another one, but Shana climbs to the top rope and hits a diving crossbody on Rose and Shana with a flurry of strikes. Superman elbow strikes her, but Rose finally stops her and hits a power slam. Shana was looking to get some revenge, but last week when Rose powerbombed her through the table during a fan meeting and greet, Rose ends out and brings a table into the ring. Rose ends up putting a referee through a table, then powerbombs Shana on him. Cameras cut to Britt Baker, who was watching from the crowd, doing the same pose she did at NXT TakeOver War Games, when Adam Cole was dropped from 2 tables off the top of the cage by Tommaso Ciampa. What the fuck? I was wondering about that too. When I saw that, that made me go, what the fuck are they copying what they saw on NXT? Like, what the hell was the point of that? That was not as shocking as Tommaso Ciampa taking Adam Cole from the top of a steel cage for War Games and dropping him through a fucking table. That was a wasted out moment just to... It didn't even feel genuine. It felt all forced and retarded. They had no reason to be there. What was she doing in the fucking audience? She's part of the fucking company. What a joke. That was stupid. I really disliked that one. That was fucking retarded. Then we got a good segment here. I won't bitch and complain about this. The only thing I have against it is Jericho's last match on 2019 will be against Jungle Boy, which I didn't really particularly like the idea of that, but as long as it's not for the World Championship, I guess I'm okay with it. I really don't have an issue with it. Now, if it's for the World title, I don't really care for it. Really don't. So, we had the World Champion, Chris Jericho, heads to the ring with Jack Hager, who has a bottle of the little bit of the bubbly and a clipboard with him. Jericho rips on the crowd a bit to get things started. Jericho says he has to have one more match to close out the year, but he gets to pick the opponent. I put together a little list. Crowds pop and says, calm down, it's not 2016. I thought that was fucking great. He then shows off the Lexicon of Le Champion. Alright, well, so much for being original, I guess. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what to say to that one. But he runs through the bunch of names that he could face, saying Moxley a bunch of times along the way, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. Thought it was a little ridiculous and over redundant, but it was still, to a point where you know that Jericho is afraid of facing Jon Moxley, because Jon Moxley's on a fucking hot streak right now in wins and losses. So out from the back comes Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt, who looks like a fucking child. But still, the guy is pretty good. I don't know why he looks like a kid, though. I guess it's just disability or, physical disability and whatnot that keeps him looking like such a young person. Then again, I'm 31 years old, and I look like a fucking 16-year-old kid my own self, so I ain't got much room to talk. Anyway, Jericho says he was just about to get to them and lists Dinosaurs. Luchasaurus growls and then tells Jericho he has a master's degree and that dinosaurs have been marginalized for 65 million years. He then gives props to Stunt, but it's neither of them who want Jericho. It's Jungle Boy. Jericho then rips on him, says he hasn't even won a match, is a mute, and is a piece of shit. Which I thought was fucking unreal. That was just like out of fucking nowhere just to say he's a piece of shit. Why is he a piece of shit? He hasn't had a singles match ever. He's been in tag team matches or 6-man tag team matches. How the fuck can you say he's a piece of shit for not having a singles match? It's fucking retarded. But whatever, it was very cool hearing the word shit on national television without it being bleeped out. So Jericho says Jungle Boy couldn't last 10 minutes with him. Jungle Boy takes the mic with furious anger and says he knows he can last 10 minutes and he will kick Jericho's ass. And then slaps Jericho in the face. I will say one thing that I liked about Jericho's comments in this that's not mentioned in this dialogue here that I'm reading off from Wrestling Incorporated is that he makes shots on Marco Stunt that children are definitely not opponents he wants to face, nor does he want to face dinosaurs. So I thought that was kind of funny. Luchasaurus, I will admit, the guy sounds pretty fucking good. It's the first time we ever heard him talk on a microphone. And he sounds really good. I like the way he sounds. He doesn't sound like a fucking dumbass. He sounds like a very intellectual human being, especially with him saying that he's got a master's degree. So with that and the way he sounds, comes across real legit. So if that's true or not, I don't know. But if that's the case, then kudos to him, man. I think that's fucking awesome. He's got a master's degree and he wanted to be a wrestler anyway. I think that's pretty neat. We then had Hikaru Shida first facing Chris Statlander. This woman competed with Cheetah in a tag team match last week, and they won the match. I believe they won. Yeah, they did win, but Cheetah was the one who actually picks up the victory for them. The issue with this match I have is Cheetah loses to Statlander. Why? Statlander has not won a match. She's 0-2. What the fuck is she beating the top-ranked prospect on the women's division right now? That is ridiculous. I did not agree with the decision on this. Cheetah loses, though, in a good match. I will give them that. This matchup was good. Probably the best women's match in this company's existence so far that I actually enjoyed watching. This was pretty damn good. But Statlander's the one that picks up the victory. Then comes along Brandy Rhodes and Awesome Kong, which is where I was fucking pissed. I don't like this gimmick. I don't like these cult factions. There's like 3 of them now. You got the BBB, which is the Blade, the Butcher Bunny character. You got the fucking Dark Order, and now you got Brandy and Awesome Kong playing fucking cult witchcraft bullshit with cutting people's hair. Out of fucking nowhere, they're asking Statlander if she wants to join. She's hesitating because she really doesn't want to join. And out of nowhere, some so-called fan, Melina Cruz, which I believe is a person who's been signed on to the company just recently, decides to pledge to the group and have her hair cut with a fucking knife. What the fuck am I watching here? Number 2, who the fuck is this woman? You don't even mention her name. She's a fan in the audience. She's a fucking wrestler. She just was signed on to this company. What the fuck are you introducing her this way? She doesn't even have a name. She's just known as the woman who got her hair cut. The the fuck is this? This is the things that is pissing me off about this company the last 2 weeks. These episodes the last 2 weeks have been garbage. The wrestling, I will admit, is still good. I will agree with that. But these gimmicks are fucking horrendous. Get rid of the gimmicks. If you ain't got a good gimmick, get rid of it. It sucks. Stick with the wrestling. Stick with the fucking normal characters and make them wrestlers. You're making it too much like WWE garbage. You don't need to do that. NXT is not doing that. That's why they're actually more successful right now than probably what AEW is doing. Not to mention they also interacted with the main roster and looked fucking good doing it. Which is not surprising anyway. But I didn't like this. This was a fucking waste of time. Brandy sounded good on the microphone. That is the one good positive I will give about this promo. She sounded decent on the microphone. She sounded solid. She didn't sound like robotic. She didn't sound like she was reading it off of a script. She sounded legit. Like she was talking out of her own mouth. Which I appreciate a lot. We then had Christopher Daniels and Pentagon Jr. This match was good, but I'm going to say at the end I was sadly disappointed. Pentagon Jr. as a heel sucks. He's not believable as a heel. I don't like him as a heel. Him and Rey Fenix are good as faces. They suck as the heel characters. I'm sorry. I did not like this ending to this matchup. It was good, and then they ended it with a low blow by Pentagon Jr. with a fucking interference by Rey Fenix for them to win this match. Why does Pentagon Jr. have to have a 2-on-1 advantage against Christopher Daniels? Like, is Pentagon Jr. that pathetic he can't win a match on his own? I mean, Rey Fenix won his match without cheating and won the match. He didn't have Pentagon Jr. come in there and interfere or cause a distraction. He won the match cleanly. Why can't Pentagon Jr. do the exact same thing with Christopher Daniels? That made no sense to me whatsoever. So, lack of respect, which is not common by the Lucha Brothers. That is not a common theme for them. They are actually more along the lines of a respectful tag team where they give off the wrestling capabilities and class, while now they're turning into wrestlers who have no class at all. I don't particularly enjoy it, nor do I think that they are that kind of character that they're trying to portray. So I don't like this whatsoever. It doesn't come across genuine or realistic. But Pentagon Jr. does pick up a good victory in this matchup. We then get a small video by the BBB, that's what they should be called, the bland, and the boring. But whatever. They're called the Blade, the Butcher, and the Bunny. So, the Bunny says she's pretty much doing all the talking. They're just standing in the background looking like a couple of schmucks. And the Bunny says, last week was their first order of chaos. Chaos? I didn't see any chaos. I saw them attack one person. Chaos is where you have a fucking track of destruction going on. We saw a fucking man get demoralized by two people with a 2-on-1 advantage. Wow, that's real chaos. Whoa! See more chaos than you can shake a stick at, honey. That was no fucking chaos right there. That was a joke. So, she goes ahead and she says they are so sick of seeing Cody's face everywhere. So it's a lot of jealousy. I don't know what the fuck the jealousy comes from. But they're sick and tired of seeing Cody's face everywhere and want to change that. And then they say that we're here to cut the head off the snake, she says. And that's pretty much it. So they're there to destroy Cody Rhodes. Like, what really did Cody Rhodes do to you, lady? His wife is the one who did the ridiculous bullshit of cutting your hair? Why don't you pledge your allegiance to her? Or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. This is retarded. I'll be honest with you. This is fucking retarded. Script writing, I don't know who's coming up with this shit, but it's fucking retarded. Don't particularly care for it. So we get Joey Janella and Jon Moxley to close out the show, and I will say this. One positive thing, out of all the little bit of rants here and there throughout this entire review, this matchup was awesome. I enjoyed this match. This match was a picture-perfect main event delivery. I enjoyed what I saw. No outside interference, straight up one-on-one, two guys in the ring, battling out for a victory and getting a win on their record. That's the way you do it. So, this is how the match kicks off. They kick off the match with some side headlocks, which actually, if you remember correctly, Joey Janella was receiving glass inside of his feet. Yeah, we went from headlocks to glass in the feet. Oh, actually, glass in the feet to headlocks, so you get what I mean. Pretty big transformation here. So a side headlock takeover by Moxley to get things started. Janella gets out of it and uses his quickness to drop Moxley. They then trade chops in the middle of the ring. Moxley knocked out to the ramp, and Janella with a double axe handle off the top rope. Moxley then lands a lariat, flipping Janella inside and out. As we go to commercial break, Moxley works over Janella in the ring. From there, Moxley with a release suplex. Moxley then looking for the paradigm shift on the ramp, and that was actually denied and reversed. Janella able to hit a big swinging DDT, sending Moxley down on the ramp, and Moxley stumbles over to the floor. Janella with a suicide dive on Moxley, and Janella heads to the top rope. Moxley looks for the paradigm shift again, and Janella counters this move once again, so avoiding danger most importantly, especially off the top rope. So he counters this with a crucifix bomb for a 2 count. Moxley lands some knees, Janella with a discus elbow, and they are just trading shots now. Janella then snaps Moxley's head back down on the bottom turnbuckle, and Moxley is near the timetable. Janella hits a crossbody, sending Moxley through it, and the crowd chants, "Holy shit." He throws Moxley back in the ring, elbow drop off the top rope, cover for 2. Janella can't believe it that he kicks out, and the two end up at the top rope again. Swinging away, Moxley finally hits a paradigm shift, sending Janella face into the top turnbuckle. Smart move there by Jon Moxley. He gives him another paradigm shift in the middle of the ring to get the cover and the 1-2-3 and picks up the victory. After the match ends, Jericho music's hit and Jericho comes down to the ring as the crowd, much like Moxley did last week to the champ. Jericho stares at Moxley with the inner circle standing behind him, and Jericho holds the title as the show goes off the air. And that's pretty much it. So there's your show, guys. Was it an improvement of last week? Yes, I will give it that. But was it leaps and bounds above last week? No, it was not. This show was still bad. Not bad of a WWE Raw or SmackDown show, but still pretty bad nonetheless. Compared to what they've provided in the last couple of weeks, I'd say this show was not as good as it's been in the last couple of weeks. But then again, every company goes through its ups and downs. So this was slight improvement. I will give it that compared to Thanksgiving Eve's episode. But I will say that I was not impressed with some of the things on this show. Wrestling-wise, great stuff. A lot better than last week. That is the one plus about this show. But the promo, like the storylines with the gimmicks, gotta go. Really, outside of the Dark Order's gimmick, I am sick of all these cult wannabe factions. They're fucking ridiculous. Get rid of them. The only good factions we got right now on AEW is the Dark Order and the Inner Circle. And the Inner Circle is their own entity. They're not copycatting or doing any kind of like fucking cult following or some bullshit. I mean, enough. We don't need witchcraft. We don't need devil worshipping. We don't need anything dealing with any kind of religious stuff, okay? And I'm a believer in God and everything, but my God, keep the God and devil out of the fucking scenario. I mean, geez Louise. Give it a rest. Anyway, guys, if you liked the video, hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. Give me your opinions on this show, what you guys thought of it directly to me. I will get back to you on that. I respect and, care about everyone's opinion, but everyone's opinion is different. So I'd like to hear from everyone's opinion on the show and what they thought about it, whether they agree with me or not. And on top, if you're not subscribed to the channel, come join us, man. I'm putting out videos at least 4 times a week. I'm at least giving you guys that. I do realize I still have not uploaded in the last 2 weeks a Impact Wrestling show. I know that's not exactly the biggest priority on this channel. Of course, nobody's really covering Impact Wrestling anyway. But, as a side note, I will mention that one of the producers on Impact Wrestling mentioned that AEW's not breaking any grounds. They're not being an alternative show to WWE. Now, after this episode, I kind of agree with him on that right now, because what they're doing is somewhat similar to what WWE does. And it's kind of pissing me off, because NXT is delivering the ultimate alternative show compared to what AEW is giving us. And I hate feeling that way. I love both shows, don't get me wrong. I still love AEW, and I'm still going to review them, but you may see me not review... Well, not review, but you may not see me actually watch it live. I may not give them the okay rating on my own end to watch it. I may watch it online and then review it later on during the weekend. And actually watch NXT for Wednesday night, maybe on December 18th, which I will explain to you guys what that is and what it entails for their main event for December 18th. I don't want to give any spoilers away on this review, since it's only about AEW. I will discuss this during the NXT review when I get to that, which will be on Saturday or Friday night, depending on how soon I can get to it. I'm not going to watch NXT's show, What Happened Tonight, because I'm wrestled out. I really am tired. I need to give myself a little bit of a break. But I will try my best to review it on Friday night, the latest Saturday afternoon or so. So, leave your comments and opinions down below. Hit the like button if you liked the video once again. And hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to this channel. And I thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you again, wrestling fans. Thank you very much. Bye.